Are you watching? Here, that's the proper way to plant a prickly pear pad. Hello, welcome to Juniper Level Botanic Garden, the home of Plant Delights Nursery. I'm doing what I wouldn't describe it as my least favorite job. I really don't mind it, but what I'm doing is harvesting prickly pear pads at our summer open house, and our summer open house in 2026 starts this Friday, which would be July 10th. Yes, that's right, July 10th, and runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then also the following Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 10, 11, 12, and 17, 18, and 19. They're always 9 to 5. We'll have food trucks and mini classes that are free for attendees. But also at the summer open house, we'll have prickly pears pads available for adoption. I like to joke that I'm collecting them for our annual prickly pear toss, where our visitors have to catch them with bare hands. Now, I've harvested these. This is, I think, my third year harvesting them. Last year, I decided it takes too long trying to be really careful so I don't get any of these glochids in my hands. Now, Opuntias, the prickly pears, have both spines. The spines are these long ones, and this particular prickly pear doesn't have an abundance of spines. And spines are sort of like cat claws, they poke you. But I don't mind the spines anywhere as much as I do the glochids. And this one doesn't have really abundant glochids, and maybe we'll visit another prickly pear that is glochid central. And they are the little tiny bristly spines that get in your fingers. They're hard to get out, and they're more annoying than hurt. And I found last year, after I threw caution to the wind and I'm just wearing a standard pair of leather garden gloves, which don't do a good job of keeping them out, that in about 2 days, they've worked their way out of my hands, and then that's the end of it. And I'll have to repeat this again probably next week when I harvest more for our second weekend. But while I have your attention, I might show you now the proper way to plant a prickly pear pod. Are you watching? Here, that's the proper way to plant a prickly pear pad, because if they end up on the ground like this one did, they will root in. It has roots. Nobody planted it. And, in nature, some cactus naturally break off. Their spines are less for protection and more for the purpose of hitching a ride. If, a road runner or a coyote runs past that type of cactus, and a little branch gets attached to them, and it might drop off, a mile down the road, so the plant has gotten disseminated. And I am calling these stems because we might think of these as leaves, but cactus are stem succulents. Some succulents like, sedums and the common jade plant have big fleshy leaves, but in the true cactus, the stems, they do away with leaves. These little things here are leaves on this new pad. These little spiny things that look spiny are leaves that are there just maybe for the first few weeks of the life of a new pad, and then they're shed. So the stems are green. Photosynthesis, that stuff goes on in the stems of the plant. And in time, as the stem's getting older, like the stem of a tree or of a shrub, they get barky and brown and no longer photosynthesize. This particular Opuntia is Opuntia laevis. Laevis means smooth, maybe because the pads don't have an abundance of spines or glochids. And a few years ago, this was a splendid specimen, but this area, it's now shaded by this aloysia and this distelium. And so I'm going to start a new plant of this out in the full sun area of the garden, because it really was a handsome plant and fairly tall, about 5 foot tall, when it had enough sun to do so. I don't remember what color the flowers are. These are the developing fruit that followed flowering, and this one is coloring up prematurely, but it shows it's going to be this beautiful sort of fuchsia purple. I think that all the prickly pear fruit are edible. Fruit, I'm using fruit to mean the part of the plant that bears seeds, not necessarily edible. The important thing to remember is to peel the skin off first before you eat them, so you're not impaling your tongue with spines and glochids. But the genus Opuntia is really large. Some are tropical and can only be grown in this area as houseplants. They need to be protected from freezing. But many are fully winter hardy in zone 7 and warmer. There are even a species or two that are native all the way up into New England and the northern Midwestern states. Opuntia humifusa, maybe you've seen it in the dune vegetation when you've gone to the beach. So we grow a wide range of them. Many of them have gorgeous flowers, big gorgeous flowers in a wide range of colors. Yellows, orange, scarlets, purples, pinks. Some of them are multicolored. But I wasn't entirely serious about this being the proper way to plant an Opuntia, but if you did just drop an Opuntia prickly pear pad on the ground, it's going to root in. That's, nobody in nature is planting them for them. If I was at home, I would, move back the mulch so it's direct contact with the soil, and maybe plant it like that. Or probably what I would do is just dig a little slit and, or maybe even a little bit deeper, but that's really all. And, if you never watered it, it would still survive and root in. Yeah. So they're fun. Warn young kids about the spines and the glochids, because a young child who doesn't understand about the spiny things in their fingers are going to be unhappy for a long time. I know it's temporary, so I don't cry too much, but nobody's listening to me anyway. Anyhow, a bit too much on Opuntias. I thank you for your time today, and I hope to see you at the open house and in the garden.